I have a degree from a top-tier university, yet here I was applying to be a glorified babysitter for a rich heir. The salary? $10,000 a month. The employer asked me what qualified me for the job. I told her my professional specialty was arguing, specifically shutting down toxic relatives and, most importantly, difficult mothers-in-law. The employer hired me on the spot. You're the one. You start tomorrow. What she didn't know was that the person I'd be arguing with was about to become my own mother. $10,000 a month? Young man, are you out of your mind? The woman opposite me, my potential employer, Evelyn Sterling, crossed her arms and scrutinized me. She was well-maintained, looking barely over 30, but the shrewd calculation in her eyes betrayed her true age and experience. We were in a high-end coffee shop in downtown Manhattan. In front of me sat an $18 iced Americano that I hadn't even touched. Ms. Sterling, you get what you pay for, I said with a smile, leaning back into the plush sofa, projecting relaxation. The market rate for a standard housekeeper, or a manny, is around $3,000 to $4,000. They do laundry, cook, clean, and manage daily routines. I can do all that, and I'll do it perfectly. But those are just my baseline services. They aren't the reason for my high price tag. Evelyn raised an eyebrow, signaling me to continue. I picked up the iced Americano and took a sip. The bitterness spread across my tongue, sharpening my focus. I graduated from Columbia Law with a minor in psychology. I'm expensive because I provide high value-added services. Oh, let's hear it. She was clearly intrigued. Your son, Julian Sterling, is 28, correct? Still single and violently resistant to any blind dates you arrange. Evelyn's expression shifted slightly. I had dug up this information from recruitment boards and gossip columns. It was basic homework. And you, as a successful matriarch, are most frustrated by your son's marital status. You want him to settle down and take over the family business, but his rebellion leaves you helpless. I'm guessing you're looking for a live-in manager, not just to cook for him, but to find someone who can control him, or rather, persuade him. Evelyn didn't speak, but her pursed lips told me I was right. I set down the coffee cup, leaned forward, and looked her straight in the eye. My voice wasn't loud, but every word was precise. Ms. Sterling, I can manage Mr. Sterling's entire domestic life, ensuring he eats balanced meals and lives in a pristine penthouse. But my core competency is managing human relationships, specifically complex family dynamics. I paused and dropped my ace. Simply put, my specialty is conflict resolution, arguing. Evelyn looked stunned, as if she didn't quite get it. I smiled and explained, not screaming matches in the street. I mean logical, evidence-based, surgical verbal strikes that leave the opponent speechless and questioning their life choices. Your future daughter-in-law's mother, your counterpart, will likely be a difficult character. Whether it's prenup negotiations, dowries, or future parenting styles, these things are fuse wires for family war. And I can be your son's designated mouthpiece. I can deflect all unreasonable demands from his future mother-in-law and handle the messy in-law politics. I can be a gentle mediator or a ruthless debater. My existence is to create a quiet, harmonious environment for Julian so he can focus on his career. So, you aren't hiring a nanny. You're hiring a family conflict firewall, a 24/7 crisis PR manager, a professional who can make your future in-laws shut up. I watched Evelyn's shocked expression and concluded, $10,000 a month. Do you still think it's expensive? Evelyn remained silent for a full minute. Soft jazz played in the background, but I could feel the war waging in her mind. Finally, she let out a long breath, making a decision. She pulled a set of keys from her designer bag, placed them on the table, and slid them toward me. What's your name? Caleb Vance. All right, Caleb, you're hired. She stood up, looking down at me. Report to this address at 8:00 a.m. tomorrow. I have only one requirement. Make my son bring a girlfriend home as soon as possible. I picked up the keys, stood, and extended my hand. Pleasure doing business, Ms. Sterling. Mission accepted. When we shook hands, I felt the strength of her grip. This was a woman with an intense need for control. And her son, Julian, was destined to be a handful. But I didn't care. I needed money, a lot of it. For my sister lying in the hospital, I would walk through fire, let alone play nanny. Arguing? That was my God-given talent. We just didn't expect that the mother-in-law I was about to face would turn out to be my own mother, and that I was about to personally deliver my sister into my employer's bed. The next morning, I arrived promptly at the address on the key tag, the Greenwich Estate, a gated community in Connecticut. The security here was tighter than JFK. I gave the house number and owner's name, and after they verified with the house manager, I was let in. The door was opened by a woman in her 50s, Mrs. Higgins, the hourly housekeeper. You must be Mr. Vance? Ms. Sterling briefed me. Julian is still sleeping upstairs. His temper, well, just bear with him. Mrs. Higgins looked at me with sympathy. I nodded. The villa was massive, decorated in minimalist black, white, and gray, cold and devoid of life. I set down my backpack and inspected the kitchen. The double-door Sub-Zero fridge was empty, save for a few bottles of mineral water and nearly expired beer. Julian's quality of life was concerning. I pulled out my phone, typed up a grocery list, and sent it to Mrs. Higgins, asking her to handle the shopping. Then I rolled up my sleeves and started cleaning the kitchen. By the time I had the countertops gleaming and every dish sanitized and organized, it was nearly 10:00 a.m. Still no movement upstairs. I poured a glass of fresh orange juice and went up to the second floor. The master bedroom door was ajar. I knocked lightly. Get out. A raspy, impatient male voice shouted from inside. Expected. I didn't retreat. I pushed the door open. The blackout curtains were drawn tight, leaving the room in darkness. The air reeked of stale alcohol. A large figure was wrapped in a duvet, only the back of a messy head visible. Do you speak English? I said, get out. The lump under the covers shifted irritably. I walked to the window and yanked the curtains open. Whoosh! Blinding sunlight flooded in, illuminating the mess. Empty liquor bottles littered the floor. Clothes were strewn everywhere. The man on the bed groaned at the sudden light and bolted upright. Who the hell are you? Do you have a death wish? He squinted through messy hair, radiating morning rage, looking like he wanted to kill someone. I had to admit, the guy was handsome, deep-set eyes, a high-nosed bridge, though his face was pale from the hangover. Good morning, Mr. Sterling. I placed the orange juice on the nightstand, my voice calm. I am Caleb Vance. Starting today, I am your household manager. Julian froze, seemingly unable to process the title. He was shirtless, revealing defined abs, and frowned as he sized me up. Manager? What is my mother up to now? A guy playing nanny? His tone was dripping with sarcasm. Gender is just a biological trait. It doesn't affect professional competence, I replied deadpan. Ms. Sterling pays me 10 grand a month. I trust it isn't for us to discuss philosophy. 10 grand. Julian laughed like he'd heard the world's biggest joke. You? Why? Here we go again. Same question as his mother. I pulled up a nearby chair, sat down, and looked at him with composure. Because I'm expensive. And the reason I'm expensive is that I can solve your current predicament. My predicament. He raised a brow, giving me a who do you think you're look. You're 28, successful in business, but your love life is blank. Your mother is desperate for grandchildren, constantly pressuring you, arranging blind dates you hate. You use partying and alcohol to numb yourself, using rebellion to fight her control. But in reality, you are miserable and lonely. I didn't speak fast, but every word was a nail driven into his psyche. Julian's expression shifted from mockery to shock, then to darkness. You investigated me? His voice went cold, dangerous. It's professional diligence. I met his gaze without flinching. I need to understand the client's needs to provide precise service. Mr. Sterling, I'm not here to monitor you. I'm here to help you. Help me? How? Help you escape this cycle. I will provide a clean, comfortable living environment to get you out of this hangover lifestyle. More importantly, I will help you handle your mother and everything she throws at you. I paused, watching his calculating eyes, then continued. You can keep your lifestyle, but you need a shield. A shield that makes Ms. Sterling feel secure enough to stop her high-pressure control tactics. Julian seemed to catch my drift. You mean, find a fake girlfriend? That is the most effective method, I nodded. But this fake girlfriend can't be just anyone. She must be impressive enough to meet Ms. Sterling's standards, yet controllable enough not to cause you real trouble. Where am I going to find someone like that? Julian frowned. Clearly, he had considered this, but lacked a candidate. I smiled slightly. It was time. Right in front of you. I have a sister named Lily. She's 22, a recent graduate from a prestigious dance academy. 5'7", stunning, impeccable temperament. Most importantly, she needs money urgently. Julian's gaze sharpened instantly. He stared at me like he was appraising a product. So, you coming here as a manager is fake. You selling your sister to me is the real agenda? His tone was filled with disdain. Mr. Sterling, watch your words. My expression cool. This is a fair transaction. You need a shield. My sister needs money. We each get what we want. I will ensure she plays the role of your girlfriend perfectly, handling your mother and all social occasions. In return, you pay her a fee. How much? He asked directly. $100,000. I held up a finger. A 1-year contract. For 1 year, she is on call, playing your perfect girlfriend. After 1 year, you break up amicably and go your separate ways. Julian laughed, a mix of amusement and contempt. $100,000? Just to have her act for me? Caleb, you really calculated this well. First, you get yourself in the door for $10,000 a month, then you upsell your sister for $100,000. Are you siblings running a scam operation? I didn't react to the insult. Mr. Sterling, you have 2 choices. 1. Fire me now and continue battling your mother every day, enduring endless blind dates. 2. Accept my proposal. Spend $100,000 to buy a year of peace. Plus, you get a beautiful girlfriend and an all-around fixer to pull your life out of the garbage. You're a businessman. You know how to do the math. Silence filled the room. Julian leaned back against the headboard and lit a cigarette. Through the smoke, I couldn't see his expression clearly. I knew he was weighing the pros and cons. He needed freedom, and I was offering the solution. After a long time, he crushed the cigarette butt and exhaled slowly. Bring your sister over tomorrow. I want to see the merchandise first. He emphasized the word merchandise. I felt a sting in my chest, feeling unworthy on my sister's behalf. But my face remained impassive. Agreed. I stood up. Now, Mr. Sterling, do you plan to stay in bed or get up and eat? The fridge is empty, and Mrs. Higgins is shopping, but I can make you a simple sandwich. Julian didn't speak. He threw off the covers and walked into the bathroom. I knew he had silently agreed. I had won the first round. Walking out of the room, I leaned against the cold hallway wall and exhaled a long breath. My palms were sweating. This first step was harder and more humiliating than I had imagined. But thinking of my sister's pale face in the hospital and the astronomical medical bills, I knew I had no retreat. Lily, I'm sorry. This is the only way I can save you. The next afternoon, I brought Lily to the Greenwich estate. Before we arrived, I spent hours prepping her psychologically. Lily, I know this is unfair to you, but we have no other choice. We're short $100,000 for the surgery. This is our only chance. I held her hand. It was ice cold. Lily was wearing a simple white dress. She wore no makeup, and her face held a sickly pallor, but it only made her look more delicate and sympathetic. She lowered her head, her voice faint. Caleb, I'll listen to you. Anything to cure my illness. My heart felt like it was being pricked by needles. She was 22, an age where she should be dancing on stage, not lying in a hospital bed with a heart condition, forced to abandon her dreams. I swore I would cure her. Julian was sitting on the living room sofa wearing casual loungewear. His hair was styled, revealing a clean forehead. Gone was yesterday's decadence. He looked sharp and handsome. He was reading a file, but looked up lazily when we entered. When his gaze landed on Lily, I clearly saw a flash of stunned appreciation in his eyes. Lily's beauty was pure and clean, like a white lotus untouched by dust. Especially in this cold villa filled with money and desire. Her presence was like a clear spring. Mr. Sterling, this is my sister, Lily Vance, I introduced. Lily was nervous, clutching the hem of my shirt. She whispered, hello, Mr. Sterling. Julian didn't speak. He just scrutinized Lily from head to toe with an aggressive gaze, assessing the value of a product. Lily squirmed under his stare, burying her head lower. I took a step forward, subtly blocking Lily from his line of sight. Mr. Sterling, you've seen her. My sister's qualifications are sufficient for the role of your girlfriend. Julian withdrew his gaze, a playful smile touching his lips. She's not bad. He leaned back, crossing his legs lazily. But looks aren't enough. My mother is a human lie detector. She'll spot a fake instantly. Rest assured, I said, prepared. I will provide Lily with comprehensive pre-job training. Your preferences, habits, social circle, company business, even embarrassing childhood stories. She will memorize them all. She'll know you better than you know yourself. Furthermore, my sister is a dancer. Her posture and etiquette are top tier. She will absolutely be an asset to your image. Julian raised an eyebrow, seemingly satisfied. He picked up a contract from the coffee table and tossed it to me. Read it. If there are no issues, have her sign. I picked up the document. It was a relationship agreement. It detailed the rights and obligations of Party A, Julian, and Party B, Lily. Party A pays Party B $100,000 for 1 year. Party B must play the role of the girlfriend, attend family gatherings, and maintain absolute secrecy. A special clause noted. Party B must not develop any romantic feelings for Party A. Upon expiration, The relationship dissolves automatically, and Party B must not entangle with Party A for any reason. The terms were harsh, filled with capitalist coldness. But I had no choice. No problem. I handed the contract and pen to Lily. Lily, sign it. Lily took the pen, her hand trembling. She looked at the cold Julian, then at me, her eyes reddening. I knew the humiliation and fear she felt. I crouched down, looking her in the eye, whispering so only we could hear, Lily, trust me. Everything will be okay. Lily bit her lip and finally signed her name at the bottom of the contract. The letters were slightly crooked. Julian picked up the contract, checked it with satisfaction, then pulled a bank card from his wallet and tossed it onto the table. There's $120 on there. $100 is her fee. The other $20 is to buy her some decent clothes and get her styled. Don't look so poor. My mother won't buy it. His words were knives stabbing into our pride. Lily's face went sheet white, and she gripped her dress tightly. Rage burned in my chest. I wanted to throw the card back in his face, but I couldn't. I took a deep breath, suppressed the anger, picked up the card, and forced a professional smile. Thank you, Mr. Sterling. I will mold her into the image you like. Not what I like, Julian corrected. What my mother likes. He stood up, walked over to Lily, and looked down at her. Remember, from today on, you're an actor I paid for. Act well, and everyone is happy. If you screw up. He leaned close to her ear, voice dropping low. I don't mind making your brother get the hell out of here, too. Lily's body trembled violently. I clenched my fists until my nails dug into my palms. Julian straightened up, satisfied with our discomfort. He turned to me. Tomorrow is my mother's birthday banquet. 7 p.m. at the Hilton. This is your first scene. Don't mess it up. With that, he went upstairs without looking back. The living room was terrifyingly quiet. After a long time, Lily's tears finally fell, drop by drop. Caleb, she choked out. I walked over and hugged her gently. It's okay, Lily. It's okay. I'm here. In that moment, I hated my incompetence. If I weren't so useless, my sister wouldn't have to suffer this. I swore silently. Julian, for the humiliation you gave us today, I will make you pay it back double. The next day, I took Lily for a transformation. Using the 20 grand Julian provided, I took her to the most high-end department stores. When Lily walked out of the fitting room in a pale lilac off-shoulder evening gown, I almost didn't recognize her. The dress perfectly outlined her slender figure, revealing her elegant neck and collarbone. The pallor from her illness now looked like a fragile, porcelain beauty. The stylist gave her soft curls, and the makeup artist hid the fatigue under her eyes. Looking at her radiant reflection, Lily was unsure. Caleb, is this really me? You were always beautiful, Lily, I said sincerely. In the expensive clothes, her timidity faded slightly. She stood straighter. I took out the script I prepared. Evelyn Sterling. Powerful, controlling, likes obedient girls from clean backgrounds. Be well-behaved, sensible, but not groveling. His father, Richard Sterling, is serious and quiet. Just be polite. He has an aunt, Vivian. She's a gossip and loves digging into privacy. Be careful of her. Most importantly, you must show that you and Julian are in love. Not clingy, but understood. Look at him when he talks. Smile sweetly if he serves you food. If asked how you met, use the script. Art gallery, he was the hero. Lily listened nervously. Caleb, I'm scared I'll mess up. Don't be. I held her hand. Remember, you aren't Lily right now. You are Alice, a girl in love with Julian. Tonight, you are the lead actress. At 7 p.m., we arrived at the Hilton Banquet Hall. Julian was waiting at the entrance. He wore a tailored black tuxedo, looking sharply handsome. When he saw Lily, his eyes visibly paused. She was breathtaking. He walked over, naturally extending a hand to wrap around her waist. Lily stiffened. Julian lowered his head to her ear. Relax. Showtime. His breath hit her ear, causing a flush on her cheek. To outsiders, it looked like sweet intimacy. I followed behind as Julian's assistant. Evelyn was surrounded by socialites. Seeing Julian enter with a girl, her smile vanished, replaced by scrutiny. Julian, you're here. Her gaze skipped him and landed on Lily. Happy birthday, Mom, Julian smiled. Let me introduce you. This is my girlfriend, Lily. The room focused on Lily. She squeezed her hands, but managed a graceful smile. Hello, Mrs. Sterling. Happy birthday. I'm Lily. She handed over the expensive pearl necklace we'd prepared. Evelyn didn't take it immediately. She scanned Lily like checking for defects. Lily? Never heard the name. What does your family do? Julian started to speak, but Lily beat him to it. Mrs. Sterling, my parents were teachers. We're a regular family. I just graduated from the dance academy. Her honesty surprised Evelyn. Just then, a woman dripping in jewels walked over, Aunt Vivian. Oh, Julian, this is the girlfriend? She's pretty but a teacher's family? Julian, your standards are getting really rustic. The guest smirked. Lily's face paled. Julian's expression darkened, ready to explode. I nudged him from behind. This was my battlefield. I stepped forward, smiling professionally at Aunt Vivian. Good evening, ma'am. I am Mr. Sterling's executive assistant, Caleb Vance. Mr. Sterling's taste is always focused on value, not price tag. Miss Lily comes from a humble background, but she is a gem. Her talent, temperament, and character cannot be measured by money. That is what Mr. Sterling admires. Vivian's face changed. You're just an assistant. Do you have a right to speak? Apologies, professional habit. I bowed slightly, my tone humble, but words sharp. My job is to handle noise for Mr. Sterling. After all, some things are beneath his dignity to address. The implication, you are noise. You. Vivian turned red. Evelyn glanced at me, a hint of approval in her eyes. She finally took the gift from Lily. Thoughtful. Since it's Julian's choice, I trust his judgment. Crisis averted. Julian glanced back at me, his eyes complex. I nodded. He guided Lily into the crowd. I followed like a loyal knight, ready to clear the next obstacle. I knew this was just the beginning. Halfway through the banquet, Evelyn called Julian and Lily into a private lounge. I followed, claiming I needed to be on standby, and stood in a discreet corner. Sit, Miss Lily. Evelyn pointed to the sofa, her tone milder than before. Thank you. Lily sat back straight. Julian took her hand, offering silent support. Evelyn watched their hands. How did you meet? We had rehearsed this. Lily spoke softly at an art gallery. I twisted my ankle and Julian, he helped me and took me to the hospital. Her voice was gentle, face shy, the picture of a girl in love. Julian added, she looked pitiful all alone. We exchanged numbers, and it went from there. Evelyn nodded, seemingly satisfied with the hero saves beauty trope. You've graduated. What are your plans? I want to open my own dance studio, Lily said, revealing her true dream. A studio? Evelyn frowned. That's hard work and unstable. Girls should find stable jobs. The Sterling family doesn't need a daughter-in-law who shows her face in public constantly. Her tone was commanding. Lily paled, wanting to argue, but Julian interjected. Mom, Lily has dreams. I support her. I'll help with the money. What do you know? Evelyn snapped. Marriage isn't just two people, it's two families. If she's busy with a studio, who raises the children? We don't need a career woman. Tension spiked. Lily looked lost. I watched Evelyn's domineering attitude and sneered internally. Time for me to step in. I approached with 3 glasses of water. Ms. Sterling, Mr. Sterling, please have some water. I placed the glasses down and spoke slowly. Ms. Sterling, I understand your concerns. You want a daughter-in-law who prioritizes family and supports Julian's career, correct? Validating her motive softened her expression. She nodded. However, I pivoted. Let's look at it from another angle. In today's society, a woman's independence is part of her charm. A woman with her own pursuits has a perspective a standard housewife cannot match. If Miss Lily opens a high-end dance studio, her clients will be from elite society. This builds networks that can invisibly assist Julian's business. It's a win-win. Furthermore, if a woman loses herself to the stove and children, she and Julian will have less in common. That isn't good for marital longevity. My logic was layered and sound. Evelyn listened intently, her frown loosening. As for time, Julian loves Miss Lily. He won't let her overwork. He can hire a professional team to manage the studio. She just needs to be the founder and art director. She keeps her dream without exhausting herself. I gave Evelyn an out, did Julian a favor, and protected Lily's dream. It was killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Julian caught on immediately. Mom, Caleb is right. I'm already investing in her studio. She won't be tired. Evelyn was silent for a moment, then relented. Since you thought it through, fine. She looked at Lily. But you two aren't getting younger. Next week, I'm having dinner with the Kensingtons. You and Lily will come. Official recognition. Okay, Mom, Julian agreed. Leaving the lounge, Julian walked beside me and whispered, thanks. Part of the job, I replied. He looked at me, eyes studying me. Your brain works fast. Shame you aren't a lawyer. Life happened. Had a speck and no other skills, I joked. From that day, Julian's attitude shifted. He stopped treating me like a servant. I was becoming the indispensable operator of this household. I balanced the mother and son, but my goal remained the money for my sister. I just didn't expect the balance to be broken so soon. 1 week later, We attended the dinner Evelyn arranged. It was at a high-end Chinese restaurant. Evelyn, her friend Mrs. Kensington, and her daughter were already there. The daughter was Chloe Kensington. Sweet-looking, designer clothes, staring at Julian with adoration. This was an ambush blind date to provoke Julian and intimidate Lily. The atmosphere was toxic. Evelyn and Mrs. Kensington praised Chloe endlessly. Ivy League masters, director at her family firm. Our Chloe is just too career-focused. Mrs. Kensington bragged. Aunt Vivian was there too, chiming in. Exactly. This is what we call a match made in heaven. Julian, look at Chloe. Perfect for you. They treated Lily like air. Lily sat there, knuckles white, gripping her chopsticks. Julian frowned, ready to blow up, but Evelyn glared him down. I sat diagonally behind Julian. I picked up the serving chopsticks, placed a piece of steamed fish on Lily's plate, and smiled. Miss Lily, try this. It's healthy. My voice wasn't loud, but it drew everyone's attention. I was reminding them. She's the girlfriend. Chloe's face soured. Mrs. Kensington smiled tightly. Oh, Julian, your assistant is so attentive. More than the boyfriend. Julian laughed coldly. He picked up the fish I served, meticulously removed every bone, and placed it in Lily's bowl. My girlfriend has delicate health. She needs to eat carefully. Unlike some people who eat anything and have hearts just as coarse. Double entendre. Chloe turned green. Aunt Vivian jumped in. Delicate health? What's wrong with her? Better not be genetic. That affects the next generation. The words were venomous. Lily trembled, face turning paper white. This hit her sore spot. Aunt Vivian. Julian slammed the table and stood up. Shut your mouth. The air froze. In that split second, I stepped forward. I walked up to Aunt Vivian, smiling with eyes of ice. Ms. Sterling, are you speaking about my sister? Vivian paused. Your sister? Yes. I turned to the room. I forgot to introduce myself fully. I'm not just Caleb Vance, the assistant. I'm also Lily's older brother. The news was a bomb. Everyone, Evelyn, Julian, the Kensingtons, was stunned. Julian looked at me in shock. I ignored them and stepped toward Vivian. Ms. Sterling, my sister has a congenital heart condition. It is not genetic. We have medical proof. As an elder, using such vicious language to attack a young woman without knowing the facts. Where are your manners? You talk about matches made in heaven and ignore character. Is marriage just a trade to you? With a mouth that toxic and zero empathy, no wonder your son is still single and no daughter-in-law can stand you. I exposed her own family shame. Vivian turned purple. You servant. How dare you? Servant. I laughed cold. I earn money with my skills. Honest work. You, enjoying tearing people down at your age. Where is your nobility? My sister might be sick, but she is kind and brave. She is my pride. You do not get to badmouth her. I'm not speaking as an assistant today. I'm speaking as a brother. Anyone who bullies my sister answers to me. My voice thundered. The room was dead silent. Lily looked up at me, eyes filled with tears and reliance. Julian looked at me with unprecedented shock. Julian had probably never seen me lose control like that, so sharp and aggressive. Evelyn's expression was the most complex, shock, scrutiny, and a hint of appreciation. Aunt Vivian, scolded into oblivion, turned beet red and finally burst into tears, storming out. The Kensingtons awkwardly excused themselves and fled. The dinner was a disaster. Only 4 of us remained. The silence was heavy. Evelyn stared at me like a hawk. Caleb, explain. Julian tried to speak. I stopped him. I took a deep breath, regaining my composure. I walked to Evelyn and bowed. Ms. Sterling, I apologize. I was impulsive. I accept any consequences, including termination. I didn't make excuses. With a woman like Evelyn, owning it was better than arguing. However, I continued. I don't regret it. Ms. Vivian's attack on my sister crossed a line. As a brother, I couldn't stand by. I admit, I concealed my relationship with Lily. That was my fault. I did it because I needed the job, and Lily needs money for surgery. I knew if I revealed it initially, you would suspect my motives. So, I chose a stupid way. Prove my worth, then sell my sister to Julian. It was dishonorable. I spoke calmly. Julian and Lily watched in shock. But Ms. Sterling, Julian, please believe our original intent was purely to solve a crisis. We have no designs on the Sterling fortune. The agreement stands. After a year, we take the money and vanish. I bowed deeply again. I apologized for the trouble. Silence. I heard Lily sobbing. Finally, Evelyn spoke. Is her condition serious? Congenital heart disease. Needs bypass surgery soon. Cost is around $100,000. I answered truthfully. Evelyn looked at pale Lily, then at me. She was silent for a long time. Then she said something unexpected. I'll pay for the surgery. My head snapped up. Julian and Lily froze. Ms. Sterling, you. Don't look at me like that. Evelyn cut in. I'm not pitying you. I'm investing. Investing? Yes. She stood and walked to me. Caleb, your performance today surprised me. You were impulsive but strategic, loyal, and brave. You swallowed your pride to be a manny for your sister, yet stood up to power to defend her. You're a real man. She continued, my son needs someone like you. Not just a domestic manager, but a strategist. I'll pay for the surgery. In exchange, you work for Julian sincerely. Be his right hand. Her eyes burned with authority. As for Lily, since the play has started, keep acting. I don't care if it's real or fake. I want results. Within a year, I want them engaged. Engaged? Julian and I exclaimed. Yes, engaged, Evelyn said firmly. I want everyone to know Lily is my chosen daughter-in-law. Let's see who dares gossip then. It was a trade. She helps my sister. I give her my loyalty and Julian's marriage. I looked at Lily's face. I had no choice. Okay, I said. I promise. Evelyn smiled, handing me a card. Call Dr. Zhang, Chief of Cardiology. Tell him I sent you. Thank you, Ms. Sterling. My hands trembled. Julian, take Lily home, Evelyn commanded, sounding like a caring mother-in-law now. After she left, the atmosphere was weird. Lily hugged me, crying, Caleb, thank you. I held her, feeling heavy. An engagement meant the lie had to go deeper. Julian watched us, eyes complex. Let's go, Julian said hoarsely. I'll drive you. In the car, silence reigned. Lily fell asleep. Julian finally asked, why didn't you tell me sooner? And have you looked at us with pity? Or think we were scammers? Julian was silent. You and your sister are very different. You're a hedgehog, pricking anyone who touches you. She is like a wounded deer, makes people want to protect her. Sorry about today, he added. My aunt has a foul mouth. It's in the past, I said. When we arrived, Julian insisted on carrying Lily up the 5 flights of stairs. He placed her on the bed, gently. Seeing the arrogant, rich kid sweating and being gentle gave me a strange feeling. I'm leaving, he said. Julian, I called out. Thank you. He smirked self-deprecatingly. Don't thank me. Thank my mom. She's the bank. Over the next few days, I took leave to handle Lily's hospitalization. Evelyn was efficient. The hospital gave us VIP treatment. Julian visited almost daily, sometimes with food I prepped, sometimes with flowers. He was quiet, just sitting with Lily. He was surprisingly good to her. Lily warmed up to him. They talked about movies, music, played games. They looked like a real couple. Lily smiled more than she had in years. The night before surgery, Julian brought a gift. A platinum necklace with a bird pendant. So you can fly freely after surgery, he said. Lily teared up. It's too expensive. Take it, Julian insisted. Consider it an early engagement gift. He remembered. My heart sank. I took the necklace. Mr. Sterling, we appreciate it. But the agreement says we are acting. Julian's face darkened. Caleb, do I need your permission to give my girlfriend a gift? I just don't want Lily to misunderstand, I said. We are from different worlds. Don't let her fall too deep. The room froze. Julian glared at me, then stormed out. Caleb, why did you say that? Lily asked, hurt. I'm protecting you, I sighed. He might pity you, but he doesn't love you. Don't get ideas. Lily cried silently. I felt cruel, but I had to be the bad guy. The surgery was a success. When the doctor told us, I wept. Julian patted my shoulder. She'll be okay. During recovery, Julian was a fixture. He peeled apples, learned to make soup. Terrible, but the thought counted. The nurses envied Lily. I grew anxious. Julian's gentleness was a trap, and Lily was falling in. One day, Julian was at work. Chloe Kensington and Aunt Vivian barged into the ward. Look who it is, the sick girl, Vivian sneered. I blocked them. What do you want? Chloe ignored me and sneered at Lily. I'm here to tell you something. Julian and I are getting engaged next month. What? Lily gasped. Impossible. He agreed, Chloe lied. We are a match. You were just a pawn he used to annoy his mother. Now he's bored. She threw a check on the bed. Here's 20 grand. Take it and get lost. You're lying. I shouted. Evelyn agreed to the engagement. Times change, Vivian gloated. My sister-in-law knows she was tricked by you scammers. She wants Chloe now. Get out. I roared. Don't be ungrateful. Poor trash. Chloe scoffed. Suddenly, the door opened. Julian stood there, face like thunder. What are you doing here? Chloe switched to a victim face. Julian, we were just explaining to Miss Vance. Asked what you're doing here. Julian ignored